Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Smart Playground for the WWE, or we call it NXT. And when I mean NXT, that's acronym for No One Extremely Touches This Shit. It was a fun takeover. Fun, I think the last one I reviewed was Takeover War Games. That was a previous takeover from last November. Now it is February. We are 2 months away from WrestleMania 36, and we have the biggest thing to happen on NXT in years since the Survivor Series event. We have NXT with their NXT Women's Champion defending her belt against the female Royal Rumble winner out of Charlotte Flair after Rhea Ripley just defeated Bianca Belair in a match that was incredibly one-sided in so many apparels because nobody wants to underdeveloped Bianca Belair to have a title shot. To defend her title in Mania with her being so unproven and obviously not the fit. Obviously, I obviously don't care. But they had a great opening match. Keith Lee faced off against Dominik Dijakovic for the North American Championship. And they started having the most fast-paced open match, more than the Broserweights against the Undisputed Era, more fast-paced than Tommaso Ciampa and Adam Cole, and more fast-paced than Finn Balor and Johnny Gargano. Leapfrogs off the wazoo. There was a Top Gun hello that was countered by Keith Lee hitting him with a powerbomb over the turnbuckle. A pop-up sit-down powerbomb by Keith Lee. There was a running senton while Keith Lee was sitting on a chair, a super kick. There was a fucking C4. The match was completely near fall, big move, stiff. These guys obviously wrestled before. If you don't see Evolve, PWG, just a lot of BS matches that these guys were having. And it just shows how entertaining, incredibly unpredictable, and how skilled Keith Lee is. Other than that, I don't know much about Keith Lee other than his his unexpected athleticism. Just think of Mark Henry and Ricochet had a baby. We made Keith Lee, folks. We made Keith Lee. It was a tremendous opening match, incredibly fast paced, well deserved match. Other than that, decent finish. It even had Keith Lee showing some respect to Dijakovic, fellow rival, if they're going to say so. Good opening match. Next up was a street fight. So coming from War Games after Dakota Kai sneak attacked and immediately turned her back away from Tegan Nox in an okay street fight. The biggest thing that caught my eye was a 450 splash that had Tegan Nox. She was dishing out like 2-3 minutes of offense on Dakota Kai, super kicks, move involving a steel chair. There was when some Hispanic girl, she showed up at the female Royal Rumble, and then I heard she was in the Mae Young Classic. She slammed Tegan Nox on the table, and that bitch did not break. That shit immediately failed to break. Chokeslam, toss. It looked like she suffered whiplash. Dakota Kai took the cover. It was a simple one-on-one match. Incredibly violent. It didn't tell much of a story, except that one time she was using her knee. Tegan Nox was playing the babyface and looked like she was going heel. Both of these women were both suffering from the injury, and I guess I was supposed to tell a story, but other than that, it was a corny, pathetic way to just make a simplistic rivalry and for them to continue showing this on NXT. And now that it looks like Dakota Kai have somebody to work with as extra muscle for the feud to get more personal. I like the way how they were utilizing using the knee brace as a part of the offense. It was a pretty okay. Gonzalez coming in was kind of a shocker because we thought, oh god, Dakota Kai was gonna get her comeuppance, but they got to continue the feud. Next up, Finn Balor faced off against Johnny Gargano in a clinic of a match. It was a pretty good match. Started off slow, trying to like shoulder tackle, missile drop kick, running DDT, tope suicida, back to back missile drop kicks over the corner. It's like ricochet of trying to do it like simplistic NXT match, near fall after near fall. Then the Great Escape was covered a few times. Finn Balor etching the scratch over the rope. No botches were made, but I felt like the match was just trying to out. They were trying to out something each other when both of these guys were trying to play the face, and I don't feel that kind of desperation. I don't feel like that type of showmanship, and I thought it was a. I know he's a heel now. Prince Finn Balor, get it, Prince Devitt, whoop whoop. And how the match should have went, it was fine to give Finn Balor the victory, but that practically just makes Johnny Gargano more of a jobber. Just completely underwhelming way for him to pick up the 1916 after the coup de grace from out of nowhere. After Gargano was taking up advantage, it was just a pretty bland but really good match off both competitors. But that doesn't tell much of a story, and it just made Finn Balor feel on top. With maybe Gargano's probably next match is like marking 16 matches and takeovers, with 8 of them I think being the main event, and he only won the NXT title once and lost it in one title defense. So that doesn't make him the most accomplished guy on NXT, even though he won every championship on NXT except the NXT Cruiserweight Championship that was just introduced weeks ago. So it was underwhelming, but it was a good match. Rhea Ripley faced off again. There was also a segment involving Adam Cole facing some interview. I think Kathy Kelly asked for final questions because I heard she was leaving NXT as soon as Takeover Portland was done. She came off asking Roderick Strong how he feels about facing off against Velveteen Dream in his return match to NXT after being out of the he had an injury. And he said, blah blah blah. The best, that's undisputed. Blah blah blah. Screaming, Adam Cole's the greatest NXT champion of all time. Just everybody was there, just bland promo to just gather appeal heat. And I feel like it's better when Roderick Strong's in a faction because it just shows up his strengths. And him as a solo act, it's pretty. It's like Cesaro as a solo act. Like he's tremendously athletic, has great skill, but he builds himself better with people around him, or else he's not growing as an individual. NXT Women's Championship. Rhea Ripley faced off against Bianca Belair for the NXT Women's title. Uh, I didn't find it that enticing. Other than we knew Rhea Ripley was going to win the belt back. Win the belt. It wasn't that enticing. There's a back body drop. Bianca Belair with her gorilla press. One time when she was up top going for a superplex, countered using her hair as a whip. A springboard moonsault from Belair, but it was reversed. Then the Riptide happened, and an obvious finish. Charlotte Flair comes out of nowhere and attacks Rhea Ripley to issue her challenge, accepting her challenge for the NXT Women's title to be defended at WrestleMania 36. Obvious way to build up momentum, build up for the show, and obviously, I think the WWE ran out of ideas. They obviously want something to do with I guess trying to build up NXT as that premier brand, like that third brand other than that developmental show, except Marwin Ellis still calls it the proven ground. The match was fine. It was a good match, but it was a predictable finish, and the match went as it wasn't as better as the Shayna Baszler and Bianca Belair match that they had last year, back at I think Takeover New York. So yeah. Next up, the Broserweights face off against the Undisputed Era. Did not see a lot of this match, but this match was fine. All we had is fine matches. Most of them don't tell much of a story. Except the Dakota Kai and Tegan Knox match, but that ended up as underwhelming as it was, like it was for the Io Shirai and Candice LeRae. I think it was also a street fight. course, we had counters over for the total elimination to try to rip off Hangman Page's finisher with Kenny Omega, but instead it's a bicycle knee and a forearm, while it's a slingshot lariat and a V trigger for the finisher for Kenny Omega and Hangman Page. Uh, Very fast paced, good counters. They did the basic spots that it went into breaking up submission holds with pushing the other person to each other. A German suplex being countered. Pete Dunne and Matt Riddle came in a freaking golf cart. It was fun for a bit. Then they started dragging off until they immediately started fighting. Oh wow, they care. I obviously care about these guys, and people be thinking Matt Riddle should be facing off against a guy like fucking Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar will rip you and treat you like fucking juicy ass ribs, rip like immediately dropping off the bone. You will not survive. You will die, Matt Riddle. Please pick the way you tweet carefully. Look at Seth Rollins. He got major heat that he totally turned into a heel just latter part of 2019. You do not want to end up like Seth. Well, Seth Rollins is tag team champion. Matt Riddle. They are tag team champions, so I shouldn't be. I just didn't find this match that enticing as it was. It did end it with the Broserweights having their only title change of the show. So there should be some positives. I thought the Undisputed Era had their bit of reign of terror a bit too long. There's already a lack of a tag division in the show, except maybe Imperium and whoever the hell they have. I don't watch NXT that much anymore. I haven't watched it consistently since like 2017. Sadly, I wasn't watching. I paid attention to the golden age of NXT. I wasn't like completely in because obviously SmackDown, Raw, TNA. That's about it. I don't focus on developmental brands as much as people want to see Evolve or fucking NXT, NXT UK, 205 Live. I'm not gonna pay attention to that because it's not on major TV and it's not gonna have that much of an enticing gripe into getting fans to watch. It'll get some new fans to watch the new wrestlers coming out, but it's not gonna get people to actually watch the show, if you know what I mean. Next up, the main event of the evening, and it's for the big one. They had Johnny Gargano turning heel. Yay! That's about it. The match was pretty basic. The only enticing thing was the starting half of the match had Tommaso Ciampa actually predict and had easy reversals into the backstabber, super kick, except a couple bicycle kicks. Basic ground game. They started slow and then they went fast, then slow, then fast, then guns a blazing later. It was a pretty good torture rack into a fucking blue liger bomb from Tommaso Ciampa. That was freaking cool. I liked the counters that Adam Cole had for the Shining Wizard that Tommaso Ciampa predicts and easily moves out the way. I like the way Adam Cole was just primarily focusing on the neck so we can hit his finisher a bit more easily. And then the commentator, just Maranello obviously getting pissed off because, oh my god, the Undisputed Era again. They're coming out again to help Adam Cole become NXT champion. It was just full of adrenaline, and we really thought for a split second Tommaso Ciampa was probably going to win because it was going to be the same old swan song, except Adam Cole might lose via karma. No, it ended up with Johnny Gargano trying to help out Adam Cole with the numbers game, then hits him with the NXT championship. Adam Cole took advantage and win. 1, 2, 3. It's over. Adam Cole regains the NXT championship and turns to black. That's about it. Ugh. This takeover was fun. I think I don't think it was better than Takeover New York. Takeover 25 was fine, except a few matches. But nothing can beat Takeover New York to me. I think that was the best pay-per-view to come out last year. I wasn't a fan of Takeover Phoenix. There was great matches. The match opener, the main event was just underwhelming. Just like how I did 2019. Like Aleister Black was great. Just it's tough to call because I like the matches, except they didn't show that much of permissive part of the story. Like, all I know is they're building up for next week, and obviously they're gonna do a takeover before Mania. It's kind of a hard one to call. I want to give this a 6 out of 10. This was above average, fun wrestling. Almost every match, barely much complaints, except a bit of repetitive actions coming from probably the tag team title match, probably the no sells from Keith Lee and Dominic. I found them too repetitive, too overzealous. Yes, NXT has better reactions to near falls than than the main roster, and they make sure you, thanks to the limited runtime they have on TV, they have more time for you to develop and like these characters. And NXT gets funner pops, but I hate their neck beard strict ass environment. I felt like they treat these guys like they're superstars, even though they're still technical jobbers or just not that relevant to the main roster's radar. And I wasn't that overzealous. There was great matches. I'm just not saying this is the most exciting pay per view. Is it better than Royal Rumble 2000 than the Royal Rumble weeks before? Probably in a wrestling standpoint. In a hype standpoint, nothing can beat the Royal Rumble by a landslide. I'm gonna give this a 6 out of 10. Good show. I advise you guys to watch Takeover Portland if you missed it. It won't disappoint you if you're a big in ring wrestling fan. But for me, and thanks, I have higher expectations for a show that's obviously on TV now for under a year. I expect more, and this was fine. That's all I'm gonna say. But that's it coming from the DST show. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope you do all the things I just advised so you can see more and you can get more wrestling news, more sports news. And I watched the Sonic the Hedgehog film, so some of these videos might be coming out faster than you expected. That's it coming from me.